legal drama that is getting more absurd by the day. There's been so many filings, you guys, and again, we get the reminder here of what this is really about now. The text messages from Justin Baldoni, you guys. I'm gonna read them for you. Okay, so let's start with these filings. Blake Lively's team has been complaining that Justin Baldoni hasn't given her enough evidence yet. Of course, because she hasn't found anything yet. And then Baldoni's lawyers added of his children in the docket. This is so insane, you guys. Replied saying that they have searched 55 devices belonging to 21 custodians, and the Wayfair parties have...
Imagine writing 26 pages of insults, accusations, and wild conspiracy vibes, only to forget the one thing people expect you to ask for, quashing the subpoena. That's exactly what Isabela Ferrer just did. Instead of focusing on the subpoena, she went straight for Justin Baldoni personally, calling him out in ways that sound more like a gossip magazine than a legal document. So why throw so much shade and leave the door wide open at the same time? Stay tuned, because this is either the boldest legal mix-up or the most deliberate PR stunt in Hollywood courtroom history. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much.
Because this is no longer about Blake Lively being SH'd on the set of It Ends With Us or produced more than 220,000 pages of documents and more than 107,000 gigabytes of data. That's obviously not enough for Blake Lively because she hasn't found any evidence yet. And of course, we all know there is none, where he's attached some of the communication between the team and Justin Baldoni. There's some good to basically smear Blake Lively and hire thousands of bots to spread misinformation about her, that she was a bad person, because she's really not.
Now, back to the video. Who writes 26 pages of roasts instead of a legal argument? Apparently, Isabela Ferrer does. Her motion wasn't about stopping the subpoena at all. It was basically a marathon rant aimed at Justin Baldoni, almost like she forgot she was in a courtroom and thought she was on some tabloid's payroll. Instead of addressing the legal point, page after page reads like she's writing a fan fiction where the villain is Baldoni and the heroine is herself. The bizarre part is she never even tried to block the actual subpoena, which makes you wonder, if she's fine with the documents coming out, why go full roast mode in the first place? The whole tone feels less like a law office and more like one of those celebrity feuds you see trending on a gossip app. You know, the ones where people argue in subtweets and captions instead of just calling each other on the phone. Imagine Ariana Grande dropping a diss track, but in legal filing format, except it's not catchy and nobody's dancing to it. That's how this thing reads. At one point, she even tried to lean into quid pro quo, but managed to spin it into something closer to quid pro quo. It's like a bird crash landed in Latin class and messed up the chalkboard.
With the retaliation campaign, alleged smear campaign that followed. So now Blake Lively wants the communication between Brian Friedman and his clients before they filed press coverage. So please make sure to watch this entire episode if you have the chance. Anyways, so Jed Wallace actually has given them some communications that he had with his team, that he had with Justin Baldoni and Jennifer Abel and the other parties at the Wayfarer. Again, this is a lot of communication that's been...
Honestly, I expected the next paragraph to describe some kind of Crow Mafia deal. You add that to the fact that Baldoni's lawyers allegedly cited a completely made-up case. Yes, an AI hallucination. And this pile of paperwork starts to feel more like performance art than legal work. When you look at it that way, maybe it wasn't sloppy at all. Maybe the whole point was to get headlines and paint Baldoni as shady rather than win in court. And that raises the real question: who benefits from making him look like a villain if not Ferrer herself? Because the way this was staged.
Now, this is all about what happened after she filed the lawsuit. Families, children at risk. There's also some great... the lawsuit against Blake Lively. As you know, there was like the week gap there from Blake Lively filed the lawsuit until all of these people got together and said, hey, we need a lawyer to defend ourselves here. Then there is a filing from Jed Wallace here, you guys, from Street Relations. Remember the hired gun that Blake Lively's team said that Justin Baldoni hired?
It starts to look like someone else's fingerprints are all over it. At first glance, this whole thing looks like Isabela Ferrer just snapped and went solo with that roast-filled filing, but here's the twist, she didn't. The buzz is that Ferrer was moving in lockstep with Blake Lively's camp. On paper, it looks like Ferrer is just some side player tossing out insults.
So this is now all about the people who have been defending themselves against her claims to remove the photo that Blake Lively's team, and they actually filed a countersuit. As you know, that's been dismissed. But anyways, so now Blake Lively's team wants to know the legal strategy. She still has zero evidence. A few of these filings are quite interesting. There is one from Jed Wallace and Street Relations and the crisis PR planning that they did and how we're planning to respond to her accusations. I mean, all of this is so obviously.
But behind the curtain, she seems way more connected. Reports claim she has been openly sharing documents with Blake's people, cooperating with their lawyers, and working side by side, while also telling the court that Baldoni is harassing her. That combo feels odd, because if you're that worried about harassment, why lean in closer and trade files with another team? Unless, of course, the point isn't about stopping the papers at all, but about stacking the deck against him in the media. Now the relationship between those two women isn't random either. Ferrer has showed up with Blake at premieres, red carpets, and publicity events. Beyond that, she's been quoted in glowing ways about Blake being a mentor and role model. When you put those pieces together, it's clear this isn't just casual friendship, it's a connection that could explain why Ferrer's legal rant read more like it came from Blake's playbook than her own. The timing added fuel too. Right when Ferrer's motion hit, US Weekly dropped its own piece that tilted negative against Baldoni, like clockwork. That overlap made it hard to see this as coincidence. Was this really about some subpoena, or was it the PR equivalent of a tag team wrestling move?
That's her new claim now. That's her focus. Yeah, now Blake Lively is trying to shift the focus away from what this is really all about, because obviously I have no more words for this kind of behavior and the way that they are putting people, client, attorney privilege. I mean, if the judge allows this, I just rest my case here because this is insane. Yeah, so now if you're defending yourself, you're a part of this. Also, Paris Hilton is back on the docket begging the judge smear campaign and a conspiracy, and you're part of the conspiracy against Blake Lively because you defended yourself against her claims. Yes.
When you notice that multiple subpoenas are circling Baldoni and they somehow all create buzz without introducing much new evidence, it starts to look less like clean lawyering and more like a celebrity group chat where the main topic of the day is let's roast Baldoni. The more you see it, the harder it is to miss Blake and Ryan's influence looming in the background, turning what looked like Ferrer's tantrum into a coordinated strike. And that opens the door to a bigger question of what these tactics say about Hollywood's obsession with narrative control. What looks at first like Ferrer throwing childish insults may actually be something deeper when you